Jane had seen all kinds of customers in the 3 years she had worked as a waitress at the busy diner, but nothing could have prepared her for what she saw that day. It was a regular afternoon, the kind where the restaurant buzzed with conversation, forks clinking against plates, and the scent of fresh coffee filling the air. Jane moved from table to table, smiling at familiar faces and ensuring everyone was satisfied. Then, the door swung open, and a tall man walked in, holding the hand of a little girl. The girl was about 10 years old, her small frame dwarfed by the man beside her. At first glance, they looked like any other father and daughter stopping in for a meal. But as they made their way to a booth near the counter, Jane felt a chill run down her spine. Something was off. The girl moved stiffly, as if afraid to take up space. Her tired eyes darted around the room, scanning every face. She wasn't just looking, she was searching. Jane had worked with people long enough to recognize distress, and this little girl looked like she was begging for someone to notice her. As the man ordered their meals, Jane observed them closely. He devoured his food quickly, while the girl barely picked at hers. Every few minutes, she stole a glance at Jane, and then it happened. Under the table, the girl slowly raised her palm. Drawn across it in bold, red ink was a giant X. Jane's heart nearly stopped. She knew exactly what it meant. A silent cry for help. A universal distress signal used by victims of abuse or trafficking. Jane felt her throat tighten. She had to act fast, but one wrong move could put the child in even more danger. Taking a deep breath, she composed herself and approached their table with a forced smile. "Can I get you anything else?" she asked, glancing at the girl while trying to appear casual. The man barely looked up. "No, we're good," he said curtly. His tone made it clear that he wanted Jane to move along. The little girl kept her gaze on the table, but Jane noticed her small fingers trembling slightly. She was terrified. Jane forced herself to remain calm as she turned and walked toward the counter. Her mind was racing. Should she confront the man? No, too risky. He could panic and take the girl before help arrived. Should she call the police? What if they didn't get there in time? She needed help, fast. Jane rushed to the back of the restaurant where her colleague, Esther, was organizing plates. "Call the police. Now," Jane whispered urgently, explaining what she had just seen. Esther's eyes widened in horror, but she didn't hesitate. Within moments, she was on the phone, giving the dispatcher their location and describing the situation. But when Jane rushed back to the counter, the booth was empty. They were gone. Her stomach dropped. Had the man noticed her concern? Had the little girl realized Jane was trying to help and panicked? Jane scanned the restaurant, but they had vanished. 10 minutes later, 2 police officers arrived. Jane explained everything, from the red X to the girl's nervous glances. The officers took notes, then examined the table where they had sat. With gloved hands, they collected the untouched glass and utensils' potential fingerprints. The investigation moved quickly. 3 days later, forensic results confirmed 2 distinct DNA samples, one belonging to the girl and another to the man. The police ran his fingerprints through the national database, and then a match. His name was Matt Davis, a man with a history of drug-related arrests and domestic disturbances. But there was more. A background check revealed that his wife and daughter had been reported missing. This wasn't just a case of potential abuse. It was a kidnapping. A week after the restaurant incident, police tracked Matt to his home. When officers knocked, he opened the door, acting calm. "Where's your daughter?" one officer asked. Matt smiled. "She's on vacation with her mother in Africa," he lied smoothly. The police weren't buying it. They had a search warrant. As officers combed through the house, they found nothing until one of them noticed a thick curtain in the living room. Behind it, they discovered a hidden door leading to the basement. When they entered, they heard a weak, trembling voice. "Daddy, please. Mommy's sick." The officers' blood ran cold. They ran toward the voice. In the farthest, darkest corner of the basement, they found them. The little girl and her mother were chained to the wall, malnourished, exhausted, covered in filth. The mother lay unconscious, her breathing shallow. One officer quickly unchained them while another radioed for an ambulance. The girl sobbed with relief. "Mommy, Wake up. The police are here. Matt was dragged downstairs, his cocky demeanor now replaced with fear. He had no more lies to tell. At the hospital, doctors confirmed that the mother was suffering from severe dehydration and fever, but she would recover. Franca, the little girl, was shaken but safe. Days later, when Jane visited them, Franca ran into her arms. "You saved us," she cried. Tears filled Jane's eyes as she hugged the little girl. She had done the right thing. Matt was sentenced to 20 years in prison. Jane, who had once just been a waitress going about her day, had become a hero.